I get you. Like I said, it just looks bad on Vince McMahon. Because when you add in other stereotypes he's played of, especially racial stereotypes.
Yeah.
By the way, this match is pretty good. Melina got involved a couple times, as you would as a manager. But basically, Eminem ends up on top. Would you end up rating this one?
Give it 5.5. And I
Yeah.
realized that Melina did not give Mexico a little pre-match warm-up.
Unfortunately.
Sucks to deal with Batista. 2 nights prior.
Yeah,
I will take the warm-up.
Right. And I'd give it a 5. But, like, one of the things that I thought about with the Mexicals, because the Mexicals were Psychosis, Super Crazy, and Juventud. I don't remember Super Crazy in ECW and whether or not he wore a mask. But
No, he didn't wear a mask.
He didn't?
No.
Okay, but Psychosis and Juventud did for a brief period. I always wondered why Psychosis didn't put the mask on until after he left WWF.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
But the next match is part of the fourth match in the best of 7 series between Chris Benoit and Booker T for the United States Championship.
Oh, I forgot. He said Juventud. I forgot to do my Hoovy Juice. There we go.
Well, you'll get a chance later because he's a couple matches in too.
I'm gonna still say it then, too. All right, best of 7 for the U.S. title series.
Yep.
Benoit versus Booker T, man, that was a good dang match. Those two have good history behind themselves. Very good, talented wrestlers. Put on a good story. Yeah, man, I was looking forward to that match, and definitely paid out, man. What you think?
Well, it kind of goes back to you could tell that they're familiar with each other.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not always. What?
I said, oh yeah.
Oh, and that's not always a bad thing. It usually allows for them to be able to pull off certain things that they might not be able to pull off with someone they're not familiar with, like I can't think of anybody at the moment that would be a comparison, but basically because in the time in the WCW, Benoit and especially in the early years, Benoit and Booker T were part of the tag division, with Booker T with Harlem Heat and Benoit a lot of times with Malenko. And it really showed. They're two really talented guys. They can usually get good at it. Pretty much anybody they work with to an extent. Benoit specifically, he just knows how to do it.
Oh yeah.
I gave this an 8.
I gave it a 6.5. That was a great match. Could have done a little more, but I thought it was great storytelling on top. And then and I could have gone as far as 7. Honestly, it wouldn't bother me. But Benoit won this match to come back in the series. He would now been 3-1 in the series for best of 7.
Yeah, it's interesting to look back on Benoit because yes, he did something terrible, but to disregard what he provided to the wrestling, I don't want to call it a sport, but the wrestling business as a whole.
It's a sport.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't like calling it a sport in the sense like, I'm comparing it to football or hockey or anything like that. Because there's definitely athleticism there. But it's also, they have an additional portion of it where it's, character building and acting and things of that nature.
That's Vinnie Mac says sports entertainment.
I hate that name, but either way,
I know.
He should definitely be honored in the WWE Hall of Fame based on that.
I understand.
There's plenty of people that wouldn't be around if it wasn't for him, and I would honestly include Daniel Bryan in that.
Yeah, I mean, Benoit gave a lot to wrestling, gave us all to wrestling, and it's like, yeah, I don't condone what he did. I know there's medical issues in that part too, from what I understand over the research and everything. Whether you agree or not, he gave lots of wrestling, and it's hard to deny him that spot. But he is denied, and I said I'm not taking consideration on anything about his what he done, but I don't know, it's just one of those hard things that you can't really deny the guy, and as far as his wrestling side of things, but a lot of people do, and I'm not here to change their mind. It's more or less, it's a damn shame, obviously, what happened, but it's also a shame not to recognize what he brought to the business. So, yeah.
And I wonder if after Vinnie Mac is done, if he would actually get it.
Well, time will tell. I mean, it's whatever Triple H and Stephanie's gonna think about it, I guess, and it's also the investors, the shareholders, whatnot. So, time will tell. I'm not saying yes, but I'm also not gonna say entirely no. So, we'll see. But it's gonna cause a stir up. If he does, it already caused a little stir up if he's not. So, I think it would cause more stir up if he didn't. If he did.
Right, right, and it's kind of hard to judge completely.
Oh yeah.
But it's just knowing I know that Vince McMahon wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Because Vince McMahon's been surrounded by controversy his whole what do you want to call it, the
Career.
promoting career. I was trying to think what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
He probably wants to avoid it, and I wonder if when Triple H eventually takes over, because he's definitely going to take over. If he would be like, look, this guy gave a lot, especially given the fact that Triple H is more honored with Dusty Rhodes and WCW as a whole. So I have a feeling that he would want to do it.
For our listeners out there, let us know on social media or whatnot. Let us know what you think. Should Benoit be in the Hall of Fame or not? Let us know.
Yes, absolutely. Next one, Bobby Lashley versus Paul Burchill and William Regal in a 2-on-1 handicap match.
I'm not
I'm gonna rephrase. Sorry, go ahead.
What about rephrase?
I'm gonna rephrase what I said about the first match. I hate squash matches on pay-per-view. All right, but go ahead.
I'm not big on squash matches. It's one of those other things that it wasn't so much a big story behind this or anything, but it was more of it was a squash, but it wasn't like it was a stupid squash necessarily. It was some more offense was good, and Regal led that way for that much. Virtual was still a young guy in that area. Lashley was young too, but I saw it wasn't like a total squash. It was to me. I just saw it as. But one thing I liked about it was to the point, and it was entertaining enough. So I give it 5.7. That's a lot for a squash. Just like the first match. It wasn't about so much necessarily the match. It was more or less the appreciation of what they did real quick, and they got it done with it. To it as well as offense out of both sides. So go ahead.
I'm gonna give it the same rating as the JBL match, the 3. And there's no reason, because I understand they want to make Bobby Lashley look like a monster, and honestly, I completely forgot he was active in 2005. I actually didn't think it became a thing until like 06, 07. But yeah, there's no reason that William Regal with somebody else should lose the match.
Oh, yeah.
William Regal, and I know Bobby Lashley is a legit fighter. I have a feeling William Regal can basically get him all in knots.
If it was a real deal, yeah. I mean, it would be. A lot of people don't know about Regal. Before he got into actual wrestling business years ago, he was in it was somewhere out in England there, somewhere around there, like legit doing fight company, and he was somebody known from years ago that was a legit badass. You wouldn't know that by the way he gets treated in wrestling a lot of times, especially at that point or before. But he was somebody that was, I wouldn't necessarily want to get into a street fight with him. So, not a wrestling street fight, a real street fight. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying by that, though. Regal's there's no real pushover.
No, not at all. And I mean, he was one of the guys that tried to get a really good match out of Goldberg early in Goldberg's career, and Goldberg is just one of those guys that are supposed to demolish people. Lashley kind of doesn't have that feel, and there's nothing wrong with Lashley in general, but he doesn't really have the look that Goldberg and Brock Lesnar have that would command a demolishing.
There's a certain kind of charisma, certain kind of human power that just you kind of got or you don't almost.
Braun Strowman doesn't have it.
No, I don't always believe in what Braun Strowman does. It's nothing like he does wrong. It's just his.
He doesn't give off that sense. Yeah. Someone that kind of gives off a sense of like you don't want to fuck with him. It would be Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens gives off this "I'm gonna fuck you up" look.
Oh yeah, Braun. I wouldn't want to mess with him because he's so big. But
right,
as far
right.
as his
Lashley.
Yeah, just as far as his character, but as far as his attitude, his character, it's like okay, I've heard this before from bullies, whatever. But it's obviously he's a huge guy, so that's different.
It's how he carries himself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
but yeah, I'm not a fan of this one at all.
I understand that.
Yeah. Next up is Kid Cash, who came out to... I don't know if this was his original music or not, but it's whatever's on the network. It sounds like a dub of Kid Rock's Cocky, and I understand that he took the name Kid Cash because people say, hey, you look like Kid Rock. Versus Juventud Guerrera of the Mexicools, and the Lawnmower is back.
I didn't think he would look like Kid Rock. I didn't think so.
Yeah, I've read in an interview that the reason he took the name Kid Cash, something, or maybe just been Cash or something like that. But he specifically said that he donned the name.
Interesting. Never even thought about that. I thought that was a pretty damn good match on the ECW days a number of times, and I thought I was pretty dang good. This match I don't remember it very good at all from back then. I watched it recently again, but I didn't realize that Kid Cash won the match. But definitely made it a good champion, and I would say, and I gave this a 6.5. Oh, by the way, Jorge Juice, I need my juice, juice it up, juice.
So the long-standing story, and I've heard this from multiple sources. Long-standing story is the reason that Juventud didn't last in the WWE for very long, and he kind of fell out, is he thought, because of the Juice character, that he was as big as The Rock. People did not like his ego backstage, and that's what ultimately led him to being cut by WWE. Which sucks because...
Raw.
Right. Which sucks because Juventud was a really good cruiserweight wrestler. And he could have been probably at the level of Rey Mysterio. Or close to it because of his abilities. But no, he thought he was bigger than he was, and this is what comes of it. You can't act like you're awesome and the biggest star in wrestling business when you clearly are not, and you got to be humble,
Yeah, the Juice was never the great one.
Yeah, he was a funny character. I liked his kind of mocking the Rock gimmick, but he's not the Rock.
When I saw him do that elbow, I'm like, okay, I see this is a little Rock tribute.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I don't. It makes me wonder, like, what was going through his head at the time. Like, yeah, you can call yourself the Juice, but that does not make you the Rock.
I wonder what he would call the eyebrow. The juicy eyebrow.
Probably. I think he used to call the elbow